Hey guys, welcome to the Pilot Life Insurance channel. And what we do is we help pilots get life insurance. That's what we do. And today I wanted to talk about the misconceptions of getting life insurance as a private pilot, especially in the day and age in which we live, when there's AI out there and a lot of scams going on. We want to make sure that we're very transparent and we let the people we work with know exactly what's going on, what they can expect. But sometimes things don't turn out exactly the way that we anticipate as far as a pilot getting the rate that they were quoted. And because of that, we've had some pilots get upset or they get mad and they decide to go somewhere else. And I kind of wanted to address some of those issues today because it seems to be coming up more and more. And let me just start out by saying that getting life insurance just in general is not easy. All the ads you see online make it seem like it's really simple. Oh, apply here and you can get approved in 5 minutes. That's not reality. Actually, getting life insurance is a very complex process. The company is actually insuring you for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So they want to make sure that whoever they're insuring is insurable and that they're not going to have to pay out $1 million, next month. And so it's a more complex process than what most people realize. And then when you add on aviation on top of that, it makes it even more complex. We have to look at your health and your aviation activities and put them together, try to get the best rate, try to choose the best company, and try to nail down that rate as close as we can. But ultimately, we don't know what the answer is going to be until you go through the underwriting process and apply. And that's where the rub comes in all the time, because it seems like when pilots apply, they think it's a set thing. And we tell them ahead of time it's not, but they still think so. And we are estimating the best rate we possibly can, but ultimately we don't know. We don't control the outcome. The insurance company does. We are what they call field underwriters, or I'm a field underwriter. And I try to gauge what that rate is going to be. But then when the pilot applies, things come up in the medical history, things come up on the aviation questionnaire, and sometimes it makes the price go higher. Occasionally, it makes the price go lower, and that's what we hope for. Or we hope to just get the rate that we quoted originally. But that doesn't always happen. So we're looking at aviation, we're looking at your health, and if you don't give us all the information, then things come up during that underwriting process that can cause the rate to change. If you tell me you fly a 172 and you don't give us any more information and you apply and we find out you're doing survey work, it's going to raise the rate because you're doing low-level flying. And when these companies get your information, they put it into an underwriting manual, which they have these manuals where they look at the details and they say, okay, survey pilot. Oh, that's going to be an extra charge. And that's just how it works. And so when I come back to you and I say, oh, hey, it's going to cost more money, you get mad and say, oh, I'm going somewhere else. Well, you can go somewhere else, but they're going to look at that same underwriting manual and say, low-level flying, survey work, that's an extra charge. So it's not me that's bumping up the rate, and it's not some scam that we're doing. It's the fact that that type of flying equals that type of rate. Sometimes it can be the occupation you're doing. If you're an air ambulance, if you're crop dusting, doing ag work, if you're a fire drop, if you're doing line work, even some corporate pilots, some charter jet pilots can get a higher rate if you're flying a ton of hours. We had that recently where, because in the past we've been able to get some charter pilots really good rates, and they fly a lot of hours. But this particular one flew a lot of hours, like 800, 850 in that neighborhood. And it caused the rate to go up. The pilot got mad and I'm going somewhere else. And so it's stuff like that where I can't control. The insurance company has their rate books and they say, oh, if it's over this many hours per year, here's the rate it's going to be. And so those are all outside of our control. And trust me, we try to get the rate as low as possible. Do you think it helps me by coming back to the pilot and saying, hey, you got to pay this much more money? I get paid when you get approved. And if you don't get approved, I don't get paid. I don't do this for charity. I do it for money. That's what we're in business to make money. So is the insurance company. And we're trying to give you a service of getting life insurance to protect your family at the lowest possible cost. And it doesn't help me at all to come back to you and raise the rate. It doesn't. We're trying to get the best rate possible. The other thing too that can raise the rate is aircraft type. 172s, Cherokees, Bonanzas, Moonies, those are all great. But if you come to me and say you fly an extra 300 or you fly some kind of experimental aircraft, a Glass Air or a sling aircraft or something like that, your longies, you're going to pay extra. If you were insuring someone who's a pilot and they said they built their plane in their garage, would you insure them for $1 million or $2 million at a cheap rate? Or would you say, I'm going to bump up the rate a little bit? Well, that's how the insurance company sees it. And I know I've talked to so many pilots who have built airplanes and they fly the experimental. And I know in a lot of cases, they're more safe than the factory built ones. They're made out of carbon fiber. They're meticulous. They go through all the airworthiness. I get it. I've been around aviation my whole life. I've been flying with my dad since I was 0 years old. And I got my private pilot when I was 2014. My brother owns a plane. My dad owns a plane. My uncle used to fly. I know aviation. But that's not the way the insurance company sees it. So we have to look at both sides. We'd say, okay, what's the insurance company going to approve you for? We try to pick the right company that's going to give you the best rate. And that's where our specialty comes in, because if you go with one company, it can be an extremely high rate or even get declined. Or you can go with another company and get a preferred rate. And if you don't know that, then you're going to get hosed on the price. And so when pilots come to us, we know how to navigate those. We're not always 100% right. And that's where kind of the rub comes in. Ultralights and warbirds, those are all going to get you extra rates. But anyway, when we quote pilots' rates, we're quoting you the best possible rate based on what you're telling us. And so that means that it's not going to typically get better. We're trying to quote you the cheapest rate, but sometimes you're not always going to get that cheapest rate. It's going to get lower if something pops up during the underwriting process. For example, if you're just a general aviation pilot, you fly 100 hours a year and you own a Bonanza, that's cut and dry. We can probably get you a preferred rate. But then during underwriting, we find out you got a stent put in your heart 2 years ago. Well, then the health side is going to bump up the rate because the pilot side is great, but the health side is bad. Or if you're extremely overweight. And we complain, and I've heard complaints, I complain too, about the insurance companies. I work out, so I weigh more. The fact is they don't care. Bottom line, they don't care. If your height is this and your weight is this, and it goes into the chart, I have a big manual right here of all these companies' rate charts. And I look at the company, I look at the rate, 510, 220, oh, it's this rate. And then I look at your flying and see if it matches, see if I can bump it up. And that's how it works. And so there's lots that go into it. And then once you apply, we have teams of people. We have case managers, we have underwriters, we have people looking at this policy all the time. And so it's very important, even during the underwriting process, that we stay engaged. We've had pilots where they kind of ghost us after they apply. They're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's get the 20-year term, 1 million, and we apply, get the application, and then they disappear. It's almost like one of those Facebook marketplace. Hey, is this still available? Yeah. And then they disappear. And so we feel like, whoa, is this guy wanted it or not? And so we get lost in the dust, and it's very awkward to keep calling and saying, hey, do you want the policy? You applied, but we can't get a hold of them. We call them, we text them. And I know this sounds kind of like a rant, but it's Friday. It's kind of like a rant video. But I just wanted to give you our perspective, my perspective as an insurance agent, trying to help you get life insurance as a pilot, some of the things that we deal with and how it could go smoother if we work together. And when we hear pilots saying that they're upset and they're going to go somewhere else, it really kind of is confusing because going somewhere, we are somewhere else. We work with all the insurance companies and we're trying to get the best rate. We scan all the insurance companies looking for the best rate. Here, I'll show you an example. This is a 40-year-old, and here's all the companies. Corebridge, which is AIG, Banner Life, Transamerica, Protective. And you could say, oh, let's go with this one. Well, if you're a brand new private pilot and you go with Corebridge and you only have 5 pilot and command hours, you're not going to get that rate because they require 100 pilot and command hours to get, well, you're not going to get that rate anyway, preferred plus, standard plus. But anyway, you're not going to get that rate. Now, if you go to North American and you're a brand new pilot and you have 0 pilot and command hours, then yeah, we can get you that. So knowing what the parameters are, or if you fly 250 hours a year, there's only a handful of companies that will let you do that without a higher rate. Some of them are 100 hours, some of them are 200. So it just depends, and that's why pilots work with us, because we know all the ins and outs, we know where to go, but we're not perfect. It's not always going to turn out the way that we quote you. And we're just asking that you give us patience. And if we give you the best rate possible on the quote and it doesn't turn out, it's not because we're trying to scam you. It's because something happened during underwriting, new information came out, whether it was something regarding your aviation or something in your health that caused it to go up. We're not trying to scam you. It's just the way it is. And if you can understand that and we can get over that, we'll try to pivot and get you a better rate. Sometimes I've had people get bumped up on the rate with one company, and because of the information we found during underwriting, we said, oh, I didn't know that before. If I knew that, I would have had you apply over here. So now that we know that, we could just shift all the information over here and get you approved. And I've done that countless times, right? Someone got really rated over here and we put them over here and they got approved at a good rate and everyone's happy. It's a win-win. So again, I'm in the business to make money. This is all I do. This is how I support my family. I want to get you the coverage you need at the cheapest possible price, but I need you to work with me so we can get it done efficiently and everyone's happy. So that's my rant for this Friday, June, whatever it is, 20th. And I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you go flying this weekend and get that $100 cheeseburger. In the meantime, fly safe, plan smart, and we'll talk to you next week.